Hello and welcome to the another episode of podcast series Let's Grow. Today we have a very special topic to discuss, a topic that is both significant and relevant where we are right now. And we are talking about Ramadan, a holy month observed by the follower of Islam. To dive deeper into the topic, I have invited a very special guest today. He is a grad student at Springfield College pursuing an MBA and previously majored in finance. He is highly knowledgeable about Islam and he is the founder of J&F Consultancy, a business consulting firm, and also a very good friend of mine from Morocco. Please join me in welcoming none other than Adam Feriss.
Thank you, my brother.
Let me extend my warmest welcome to Adam with the Islamic greeting. As-salamu alaykum, rahmatullahi wa
Alaykum salam, brother. Good meeting you.
Yeah, nice seeing you again. Adam, talk about yourself a little bit more.
So, I'm Adam Feriss. I am from Morocco, the first country to recognize the United States as a sovereign nation. And I did finance in Morocco before I came here for an MBA. This is not my first year in the US, but it's been a long time since I first came here. So you could say that it's my first time here, and I'd like to share my experience with you here about Ramadan in particular.
Oh, love to hear that, the way you said. Yeah, today we are talking especially about the Ramadan. So I will start with the very basic question. What is Ramadan?
Okay, so that's a good question to start with. So Ramadan is basically a month, or we could call it a holy month for Muslims, during which we fast from sunrise to sunsets. And the purpose of it is to basically enlighten spiritually, like I've said before, and to heal physically and to heal mentally. And by fasting, I mean you should not eat anything, you should not drink anything, and you should keep away from your desires.
Yeah, I love the way you say that healing mentally and what did you say?
Mentally and physically
Mentally
and spiritually.
And physically and spiritually, yeah. I like that one. Who celebrate the Ramzan and what is fasting?
I believe I just said that fasting is basically not eating and not drinking even water, which is something that surprises a lot of people. They're like, why you don't drink water? You're like, yeah, well, you get used to it because you start very young. And basically, your partner, you need to that's a desire you need to control as well. And the main purpose of that is when you start controlling these desires, basically, you're giving a break to your body. You're not giving it food, you're not giving it water, so the body starts its regeneration process. I'm not much of a scientific guy, but the basis of this is the body gets to fix itself. It's like as if you were in a room and you had nothing to do and you were locked in there, and so you get bored and you start organizing your room. It's the same thing. If I gave you something to do, you would not organize the room, you would be distracted. Same thing for the body. You don't give it food to digest, you don't give it water, you don't give it anything, it gets bored, so it starts basically reorganizing itself. It starts healing, which shows in a lot of stuff. Like if you used to go to the gym before Ramadan and you know how much you, for example, bench, how much you squat, during Ramadan, the numbers will go down. But if you keep training during Ramadan, after Ramadan, when you start eating normally again, you notice that your numbers go up, which shows that the body became stronger during that month, even though a lot of people believe it will become weak because of the lack of food and water. But that's not really how it works. So, and like you said, you asked who celebrates Ramadan. It's Muslims, basically the people who follow the religion of Islam.
Yeah, I like the analogy that you give about the room because I can relate that when I was thinking. And I totally agree with you because I'm going to gym even in the Ramadan, and I can do, even though I did very good yesterday, because I normally for the soldier I just do the 25, but yesterday I was doing like 25 and 10. So yeah, I agree. And
you're an exception. You get stronger during Ramadan.
During Ramadan, yeah. I'm just going to hit another question to you. Why do
Please.
Muslims observe fasting?
Why Muslims what?
Why do Muslims observe fasting? Why do Muslims do fasting?
Muslims do fasting because they're told to, basically. Because
This is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
that is the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you follow religion, that basically means that you follow the teachings and you follow the orders of it. It's like you say, I'm in the military, so you're going to follow the orders of the guy who's, higher than you in the hierarchy. So yeah, that's basically why.
Wow, perfect. Is there any scientific evidence that fasting benefit health or anything like that?
Surely, of course, yeah. There's a lot of scientific evidence, and without needing to get any studies or anything, not because I don't have them, because I actually don't have them, but just look at people who are now Muslims and who do not do Ramadan, but still do intermittent fasting. That's proof that these people find benefits in fasting. Sure, it's not the same exact thing as how we do fasting, but the general idea is there. It's to fast from when they wake up to a certain time in the day. Maybe it's 12 p.m., maybe it is 2 p.m. I've never tried it before, but I think that's when they start eating or drinking water, and they see benefits in that. So, yeah, surely there's scientific evidence that it is good. And as you know, in Islam, we know that anything that we do has a benefit for us. We know we just don't do it like that. So sometimes it's just a matter of time until science catches up, and sometimes the science has already catched up or has already caught up, and we're taking advantage of that. We're benefiting from that.
Yeah, love to hear that. Guys, please take the advantage of that one. Adam, I want to hear a little more about your personal experience. Thank you for summarizing Ramadan, a little more about the Ramadan for the audience and the people who don't know. And now I want to know a little more about specifically you and your experience with Ramzan. Just correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is your first time observing Ramadan, observing Roja in the United States.
I spent some time here, but I was very young when I did so I didn't have to fast at the time. So yeah.
Yeah, so how is this different from your experience last year, or like how the fasting is, how you observe fasting difference doing in college and in your home country?
Okay, so that's a good question. I think the fact that here it's way colder, it's chill, it makes it easier, because back at home, since I remember I started fasting, it started like in summer, and then it started like coming back and back, but still, like last year it was still hot during Ramadan, so that makes it a little bit harder. Also, sunsets here is earlier than back in Morocco, which means that we get to eat a little earlier, which is kind of nice. But I think that's not what really affected my experience. I think that I find it harder here, which is an exception, because most Muslims, they like the nice weather here. Most Muslims, they like the fact that sunsets is earlier here. I find it's harder here because of the psychological aspects, which is something that's okay. Experiences, it's good, makes you tougher. So basically, when I came here, the fact that nothing changes when the Ramadan starts, because when you're in a Muslim country, people shops close down, they open late, there's no restaurants, of course, because no one's eating, there's no cafes, so that kind of helps you remember every minute you're outside that Ramadan is here.
Yeah.
But here, you need to pay attention, because people are walking around you with coffee, and you're like, I shouldn't drink that, I shouldn't eat that. And then you're asleep and you have water next to you, and you're afraid you'll wake up and just drink because you're thirsty, and there's no one with you in the house who's Muslim who will basically help you through Ramadan. So I think that's the main thing in my experience.
Yeah, I like I like the way you explain your experience, but my experience is totally different than this one. First, I want to start from like the way you say sunset. I have never thought, and I have never paid attention that we have sunset earlier here than back to home.
Yeah.
But thank you for pointing that out. And for me, I think the fasting is way easier here, because I come from the village of Nepal. and weather same as you. Like we have very hot weather.
Yeah.
And I come from the agricultural family, so we need to go to farm while fasting. Dude, that is so crazy. Like you feel like
You do a lot of physical work.
yeah, physical
Yeah.
work, and you feel like real thirsty as well as hungry. I have never felt hungry over here while observing, but there you will feel thirsty and hungry.
And you have to work.
Yeah, and you have to work without no other option, and there is no AC, nothing. So I think it is completely very harder over there in comparison to the college, because college I feel college you do not need to do anything, just go to class and no physical work. The climate is cold, even the day is shorter. Thank you for pointing that out.
Well, that brings a certainly important point or interesting point as well, which is everything is relative at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So you had to do field work. You had to be out in the sun during the day, and maybe it's like 5 hours until sunsets,
Almost.
right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
almost.
Sometimes even if it's like 1 hour before sunset and you're doing physical work and you're thirsty and hungry and you can't eat yet until after 1 hour, that takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of, mental strength. But when you came here, you find it nice. But some people, they're like, oh, during the summer, it was, for example, we didn't have studies, so we used to sleep throughout the day, so we don't feel hungry or thirsty. But now I have to go to college. So it's pretty interesting to see your point of view. You find this easier, but other people find the same thing, find college harder, because they compare it to their previous experience of just sleeping throughout the day.
Yeah, wow, a very lovely point came to my mind just now. So the way you said the relative, it's about what you have done previously that shaped your future.
Yes.
If you have already done a hard work, if you have already invested a lot in anything, your further journey will be easier.
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
wow. That's-
We have a saying in Morocco. We say "خدمة صغرى على كبرى,"
What
which
does that
basically means it's like you're telling the younger you to work for the older you. It's like younger me work for my older me.
Wow, that's interesting. I like that. And I also want to say one more thing. The way you talk about, because you are from the Muslim country, so people
Yeah.
during Ramzan time, people do not eat. So you feel the difference. I come from the Hindu country. It's the secular, but almost 80% people are Hindu. So it feels same to me, because even though in my class people used to eat and I was not eating, so that
See?
is similar. here.
Relativity.
Yeah.
What did I say? So me, because relatively, like in Morocco, it is a Muslim country, I feel that it's harder. But you don't feel any difference.
Yeah,
Relativity.
Yeah, see, I don't feel harder in this topic, but I feel harder observing the fast. I want to ask another question.
Go ahead, please.
What are the? I think we already covered this, but let's see. What are some of the positive aspect of fasting at Springfield College? I think we already talked
Yeah,
about the
we already spoke
temperature
about
and
this,
these
yeah.
things. I will go for like, how does a typical day look like yours during the Ramzan?
Okay, so a day during Ramadan, it's definitely less work during the day and more work during the nights, simply because you have less energy. So if before Ramadan you're used to doing more work during the day, you will basically take some of that work and do it during the night, because after sunset you would have ate, drank, so now you feel a little better. So it's basically just your normal day, college day. You try to be a little more religious. You try to, because there's nothing to do, you're kind of bored. Nothing to do, meaning there's nothing to eat, nothing to drink. You try to fill up that time with some meditation. We don't call it meditation, we call it praying.
Yeah.
But we'll say meditation just for the general public. And so once sunset gets there, you get your meal, and from time to time after sunsets you could go to Tarawih, which is the set of prayers that is that we do after the last prayer, but it's only in Ramadan, so it's the only opportunity you could do it. So sometimes we would go do that and just get back and finish the work, and stay a little up late at night to finish the work that you didn't do in the morning.
Yeah.
And try to go sleep on time.
Yeah. At the last time, what time did you leave library?
Last time, when did I leave library? I don't know, but it's...
Wait, yesterday, what time did we leave library? Because we left library together. Do you remember the time?
It was definitely Like yesterday?
Yeah.
This was like 1 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it was one. And it is that I will say that this is my average time when I leave the library. And wait, this is so interesting. For me, Ramzan is like more productive.
Is that still working?
Yeah, this is working.
Okay, just making sure.
And for me, the Ramzan is like more productive because I just extra. I need 30-minute nap before going to the gym because I go to gym around 5. So I just take like 4. I go to bed for the nap around 4:30, and I just take 17-minute nap. This is my professional nap. I always take 17-minute nap.
Why is it 17 exactly?
Because in my very first year, I was doing research about the nap, and I read that if you take the 17-minute nap, you will not feel like more sleepy. But if you take like even 30 minutes, you feel like you need to sleep more.
Yeah, you start getting into the deep sleep states.
So I think this is like a cycle. I'm not very sure, but 70 minutes work perfect for me. So I care about that one. You can also try.
Is it 70 or 17?
17, 1 7.
Okay.
Exactly 17 minutes. If you take even the 18 minutes, it will be like a little bit harder. You cannot wake up. So try the 17-minute nap. And other things are similar to you, like praying Tarawih, working a little bit more late. I will go.
So it's a similar schedule.
And let me talk about like this is the Ramzan month, and I always believe on a structure. If you plan something, it is better chance for you to succeed or get that. So what do you have any specific goal for Ramadan?
For Ramadan? Oh, that's a good question. I don't have a specific goal for Ramadan. I just transfer my goals from before Ramadan, try to work on them in Ramadan, to be honest. Maybe there are some goals that are particularly like allocated for Ramadan to be a little bit more self-conscious.
Oh wow, love to hear that.
To basically know, it's basically like a break. So maybe just organizing a little bit of the chaos that you have in life, getting in touch with your spiritual side, and when you feel some peace with your spiritual side, it basically allows you to do better in the physical realm, you know?
Wow, love to hear that. So you are thinking more about like inner thing, more instead of physical, like you are focusing more about the inner thing. I like that one. I have some of the specific goal for the Ramzan. My plan is like at least I read 5 pages of the Quran. Then I'm planning to write, and I think I did sometime, like writing journal so that I can reflect on myself. I can see what are the changes that is happening inside me.
That's sorry to interrupt, but that's one of the best ways to basically know what to do, to clarify your situation in life and then take some steps forward. Because a lot of the times life is just too confusing. And journaling sounds like it's for women, but it's not. Because a lot of the big historical figures had journals.
Oh wow.
A lot of like even military generals, they had something to, like they had a journal. They used to journal, they used to write their thoughts, their situations, because actually I would say journaling is more for more important people than, I don't want to say less important people out loud, I'll just say it. It is more important for more important people than less important people. Why? Because a king cannot complain to, or not necessarily a king, but let's say, for example, a general in the military cannot complain to a captain. Because it doesn't make sense. It will make him look weak in front of him. And because he's the highest in the chain or in the hierarchy, he has no one higher than him to complain to tell about his life to. So he has his journal. So he writes to his journal as if it's someone else. And by writing, everything clears out. It's not in your mind and blurry and confusing. It's written out very clearly. So when you read it again, it's like you're reading your situation, but now you understand it better. So people, you know, just for the people who think that journal is kind of weird, it's not. I think it's very
I agree.
helpful.
I like the lovely way you present this one. And even though sometimes if you are going through something hard or you feel something very horrible going in your life, if you write, you feel lighten in your heart, like your heart do not feel like very heavy. If you just write somewhere, you feel like a little relaxed. So try, guys, whenever you are having something messed up, hard or anything going
Just make sure to journal in privates.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not journaling anymore.
But to be honest, I don't want anyone to see my journal.
Me neither.
Perfect. So we are almost we are almost at the end. We are about in closing. So I just want to ask a couple of more questions before we wrap up. Is there anyone you would like to send prayers and blessing through this podcast?
Oh, okay. That's a nice way to conclude this. I would say it starts with my parents, who helped me a lot. Just my brother. Like to give him a shout out to the good guy, and you, of course. Thank you very much for having us in this lovely podcast.
Thank you for coming.
My friends in general, and whoever is or was on this journey.
Oh, perfect.
Of mine, yeah.
Wait, so I'm not concluding. I have a couple of more questions I said you.
Come on, it was gonna be nice, man.
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay.
I also want to include lastly, do you have any message for the non-Muslim viewer who are watching this podcast? Any message related to the Ramadan?
I think my message would not be specifically for non-Muslims. It would be in general, because anything that I would advise non-Muslims with, I would advise Muslims with.
Perfect. Then go ahead.
As we see them as, this equal. They're both people, and they both could use the same advice.
Sounds good.
I would say stick to what you believe is right, but also be open to change, and be open to changing your beliefs, which is kind of confusing, but you got to find some balance in life. Sometimes when you really believe something is right, that's not the right time to be open to change, because you won't stick to anything and you won't make any progress. And then sometimes if you keep sticking to one thing and you think it's right, but it's not working as well, that's maybe the time to start doubting your beliefs. Do some research, ask the right people, and think for yourself, and then maybe change your belief, or keep the first belief. It will become stronger. So you need to find that balance. That way you do not stick to a belief that's wrong, and that way if you have right belief, you don't easily let someone take you away from it. So know when to stick to the right belief, and know when to be open to change, because that's life. Life is not just moving like this. Sometimes, you got to make some changes. It's like Formula One cars. Every year they say we have the best car, but they don't have the best car, because next year they change it again. Because they say this is good, but they're open to change in case they learn something new about how to make a better car. So I think that would be my advice to all Muslims and non-Muslims. And because you said make it related to Ramadan, you could use this for your spiritual side. You could use this for your spiritual beliefs. Or you could use this for your general day-to-day activities.
Wow, this is the perfect way you sum up the things, and even though you give the very good insight, like how someone can say inside and also take something which is outside in the surrounding and can reflect on him or herself to make the better decision in the life. Yeah. Wow, I love this. So we are almost about to conclude here. Thank you very much, Adam, for joining us today and share your insight about the sacred month Ramzan. It was truly a delight to hear your experience and perspective. To all our listeners, thank you very much for tuning us on the Let's Grow.
Follow my friend over here. He's very passionate about his work, and if there's anyone that I see working the hardest in this campus, is this guy. He's the first guy to get into the library and the last to get out, and that's if he gets out of the library. So
that is so nice of him, because he is studying more than me. Thank you. Until the next time, take care and stay blessed. Thank you guys. See you in some other video.